You're not just here by accident. There's a strong but quiet force inside you that brought you to this video right now. You'll understand why this isn't just an accident when you reach the end. You've been getting a quiet nudge from your soul, gently guiding you without making a fuss. As a result, rising above your old self isn't a big, loud change. It doesn't come with loud announcements or fireworks. It's something quiet and subtle, a journey that takes place in silence. You don't have to change how you look to become a new person. It's about shedding what didn't truly belong to you in the first place. You need to reconnect with who you've always been at your core. Transformations like this don't yell, they whisper. You might wake up one day and realize you no longer belong to the identity you once held on to. You don't connect with the same places, people, or parts of yourself that once defined you. Carl Jung once said that growth as a person doesn't necessarily help you grow spiritually. Moving past, it means letting go of everything that isn't important, armor or illusions, so you can remember the core of your soul, that quiet, unshakable truth that has always been inside you. This change begins with the realization that you no longer identify with your past story. What once seemed central to your identity now feels distant, like watching an old movie. You can see and remember it, but it no longer defines you. There's no need to turn it down or miss it. Instead, you observe it with calm acceptance. When you look back, you do so without needing to explain or defend. You don't have to tell your story from a place of wound anymore. What you went through or achieved doesn't define your worth, because everything that happened was part of your journey, meant to happen. You realize that none of that truly matters when it comes to your inherent value. You can be or become anything because of what you've experienced. Where shame or pride once resided, a new sense of freedom has taken root. The gentle freedom to see your past for what it is, just the past. This mental distance isn't detachment, it's integration. You don't need anyone's understanding of your pain. You simply honor it in silence. You don't need to justify your actions or words anymore. You just know. Keep quiet to honor that knowing. That's enough. As time passes, you notice that the things that used to bother you no longer do. They leave no mark on your inner peace. Words that once hurt you are no longer sharp in your mind. You begin to loosen the hold relationships had on you, no longer rejecting them, but recognizing that they have nothing left to hold onto in you. Moving beyond your old self, your emotions no longer control your actions. This isn't because you stop feeling. It's because you discern between reactions rooted in the present and old patterns repeating from the past. Your inner story begins to shift. The thoughts you used to obsess over for validation fade away. You no longer seek forgiveness or dwell on regret. You simply observe and keep moving forward, knowing every previous part of yourself was necessary to bring you here. True understanding isn't something you acquire intellectually. It comes from the heart. When you realize this, your old self begins to dissolve. Not because it disappears, but because you no longer live there. A lighter, freer self emerges when you stop living according to old versions of yourself. Your choices become clearer and more aligned with who you truly are, not the story you once told yourself. The limiting beliefs like "this is just how I am" or "I can't change" start to fade. Not because you fight them, but because they no longer fit with your evolving identity. You act not to maintain a persona, but because it's authentic. Labels no longer make your soul feel alive. They are unnecessary. Letting go of your old self doesn't mean killing it. It's about honoring what once served you and gently releasing what no longer helps. You stop repeating old emotional habits or trying to change into someone you're not ready to be. Letting go smoothly and effortlessly is the clearest sign that you're no longer vibrating from a conditioned self. You're beginning to live from your true essence, the part that doesn't need to show off or defend itself. The true self simply is. From this place, your connections with others start to shift naturally. You connect from a space that's clearer, more honest, and less burdened. You no longer seek validation through others or rely on relationships to fill holes inside. You feel genuine even if no one sees you. You no longer play games with your appearance out of fear of loneliness. Past relationships based on need Unspoken agreements rooted in pain or mental trade-offs are replaced by space. Room to breathe, think, and simply be. When you transcend old patterns, you stop repeating emotional routines that kept you stuck. Not because the world has changed, but because your decisions are no longer driven by hurt. Your emotions no longer lead you astray. Instead, you act from balance. This shift changes everything. The people around you begin to reflect what you truly value. They show you what you have, not what you lack. You no longer avoid being alone or seek closeness out of fear. You share from a place of abundance, knowing you have enough, just as you are. This is genuine change, when you no longer need to alter who you are to fit in. When your past no longer defines your present. When feelings become messages rather than rulers. Remembering who you truly are transforms your story from a script into a sacred memory. There's no drama when you connect authentically. Your peace doesn't depend on external validation. Instead, it resides within, rooted in your connection with yourself. Your inner stability is no longer dependent on others' decisions. You trust your own peace. That quiet, subtle movement inside you, almost unseen, shapes everything. When you learn to be emotionally independent, you discover a freedom that is both liberating and reassuring. You're no longer trying to escape or cling. You simply are. That's enough. Your presence, once just a part of who you were, becomes your new way of loving. It's a love that doesn't demand attention or validation, but simply is. This love is gentler, deeper, more authentic. It doesn't scream promises or show love theatrically. It's steady, silent, and true. Connecting from a place of honesty rather than pretense allows relationships to flourish without the need for effort or masks. As your energy strengthens and aligns, it naturally filters out what doesn't resonate. Difficulties may still arise, but they no longer break you because you're approaching them from a place of wisdom, not hurt. You meet life with awareness, not reaction. You stop trying to be someone else because you become who you truly are. Everything changes when you embody this new self, quietly, gradually, and deeply. Even if no one else notices, your world begins to respond accordingly. There's no chaos, only harmony and certainty, an inner peace that radiates outward, not through loud voices, but through that still, small voice within that guides you clearly. You're no longer the person you once were. You've moved beyond. That transcendence isn't loud. It's felt in the quiet strength of your presence. It happens gradually, imperceptibly, but its effect is profound. You may notice that your reactions are different. Things that once hurt you now pass through you more easily. You no longer live with a sense of urgency, rushing to fix or control everything. You've changed deep inside, beyond appearances, and that change is real, even if it has no name. It shows in your actions, in your choice to prioritize peace over conflict. Your energy becomes a gentle flow, strong, aligned, effortless. When you move, it's not driven by pressure or expectation, but by an inner rhythm that is uniquely yours. This source, this inner guidance, connects you to something greater, beyond your story, beyond your labels. You no longer live to maintain a public image. You live to share your essence. That essence, patiently waiting all along, is now free to shine. You've let go of the illusions that distracted you and stepped into authenticity, not to prove anything, but because you've chosen honesty over habit, silence over noise, and your soul over superficiality. You're no longer in control of that old self, the one that needed to perform or impress. It's been replaced by a quieter, more genuine presence, aligned with your true self. A new chapter begins, one rooted in truth, not reactive, but receptive, not seeking approval, but trusting yourself. You no longer need validation outside. Your worth is clear within. Your soul has known all along that its home is inside you. Now you truly feel that. Life becomes a sacred unfolding, not a race, but a gentle flow. Each moment is welcomed with peace, not resistance. Old patterns fade in the background, revealing your true frequency. Your life reflects your inner transformation. What once seemed wrong now fits into a bigger picture. Mistakes are seen as vital growth moments. You no longer blame yourself. You understand that even pain serves a purpose. Moving beyond your old self isn't just about healing hurts. It's about rising to a higher perspective. It's about seeing chaos as order in disguise and recognizing that every lesson is a step closer to your true self. Time no longer rules you. You align with your natural rhythm, moving at a pace that's right for your soul. This awareness shifts your decisions. You no longer chase after fleeting promises or external validation. You trust your inner compass, and that trust becomes your guide. Your decisions are gentle, intentional, and rooted in gratitude. You understand that letting go often leads to the greatest understanding. As you surrender control, your power becomes quieter yet deeper. Your strength lies within, steadfast, calm, and unshakable. You don't need to shout or prove. Your presence speaks volumes without words. The smallest gestures, pausing, listening, simply being, carry profound meaning. You're not waiting for the world to change. You're shifting inside, becoming more aligned, more peaceful. No longer rushing, no longer forcing. You live in harmony with your inner truth. External circumstances may shift, but your inner peace remains steadfast, rooted in your authenticity. This inner shift radiates outward. It's felt in the way you relate, in the choices you make, and in the love you share. You realize that true change isn't about external circumstances, but about your inner state. When you embody that, the world around you responds in kind, smoothly, naturally, effortlessly. You don't need to move mountains. You only need to be present. Your energy heals and transforms simply by being authentic. Living in harmony becomes your natural state, a medicine that doesn't need words to demonstrate its power. You don't forget your past. You honor it. You see it as part of your journey, necessary, instructive, and complete. Your energy now speaks for itself, echoing your inner truth. When your story aligns with your soul, everything else falls into place. If these words resonate with you, if they remind you of your own inner truth, stay close. This space was created for souls like yours, those ready to live more consciously, more fully, more present. Join us, not just a channel, but a movement of awakening. Because every thought, moment, and shared experience here is meant to support your journey back to yourself. Keep going. Your path is unfolding perfectly.